dun, dun. Snap! Telly sounds so official with that thing. He comes up and he snaps it in front of me, and I go, holy moly. Anyway, he's trying to make a movie star out of me. That's an awfully hard road, I want to tell you. Okay, this morning here at MHAB, we're going to do a salad dressing for a little bit of a catering gig we've got going. There's a local nonprofit who's having a board meeting, a virtual meeting, a Zoom meeting this noon, and we're going to deliver lunches to all the board members as they're participating in their meetings. So that's kind of cool. We like to get out in the community. It's one of the things we pride ourselves here at MHAB on is being engaged in the community. So one of the things we're going to do is in an hour or so we're going to go out and we're going to pick fresh microgreens from our own little greenhouse and make salads, and we're going to put this dressing on it. It's a dressing that I first had at a restaurant up in Montreal. My wife and I were up in Montreal when my son was looking at colleges, 6, 8, 10 years ago, something like that. And we're all kind of cheese lovers, so we stumbled on a restaurant called Fondue Mental, fondue place up off the McGill campus. And we had this dressing, and it was great. And Paul liked it so much he asked if I'd get in touch with them and see if we could get the recipe. And they said yes. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to go about 1 to 3 or 4 as a ratio between acid and fat. And we're going to start with this is a light flavored Asian dressing. We're going to start with rice wine vinegar, and I'm going to put into that rice wine vinegar maybe a couple of teaspoons of sugar, and I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons or 2 of sesame oil. In this case, the sesame oil is not really for the emulsion. It's for flavor. And I'm going to put a tiny little bit of ginger. Pro tip: best way to peel ginger is with a spoon. It's much easier than with a knife or with a carrot peeler. See how easily that skin comes off the ginger? And I'm not going to put very much in. It's going to amount to, by the time it's all said and done, just a couple of teaspoons. So I'm going to cut that across. Ginger's very fibrous, so when we get to grinding this up, we're going to want to make sure that we've made a bunch of cuts across those fibers, because it's very, very tough, and you end up with stringiness in there if you don't shorten those fibers up. You can do this in a bowl with a whisk. It's a lot more work. I'm a big shortcut guy. So I use a stick blender. So I've got that with a little bit of oil, a little sugar, and about 2/3, 3/4 of a cup of rice wine vinegar. And I'm going to spin that now to make sure that ginger gets all chopped up. Obviously, if you're doing this by hand, you'd want to mince that ginger an awful lot finer with a knife before you did this in a bowl with a whisk. So that looks like the ginger's pretty fine. And I'm going to put in about 2 teaspoons or a tablespoon. This is a fairly big batch of dressing. This is for about 16 salads, but it's a light, as I said, it's a light dressing, so we want to keep the dressing nice and light. Now for the fat, and we're going to do it exactly the same way as the other. We're going to turn the blender on, and we're going to drizzle it in till we get to about 3 times as much or 4 times as much as the acid, and by that time it'll be thickened and emulsified, and we should have a great dressing. Drizzling it in slowly, so that each little bit of fat as it goes in, each little bit of oil, in this case I'm using grapeseed oil, you could use vegetable oil. Olive oil gets a little weird with the Asian flavors to my palate, so I like to use grapeseed because it's very light flavored and lets the little touch of soy and the ginger come through. And I like the flavor of rice wine vinegar as well, so it's kind of a good combination. There we go, that looks pretty good, and it's a little thick. And just because I like a little twist or 2 of fresh black pepper. This is actually mixed peppers. It's got green peppercorns and black peppercorns and pink peppercorns. So I think we're there. We didn't put any salt in this because, of course, that soy sauce is loaded with salt. So let's see how this is. Oh my, that's pretty good. That'll do, pig. Thank you, guys.